Go ahead.
John, can I stop you right there? Because I'm getting real-time feedback. Ron Paul didn't just do well; he did the best from that chart. No, I just want to be fair. I want to point it out because people are watching for it.
He did very, very well tonight. And, I mean, his bars are bigger than everyone else's, so we report, you decide. Okay. Let's take a look at race. Newt Gingrich did well on that. Romney.
The 81 charge says, does the GOP really think they can win without the support of Ron Paul?
No, they can't.
They can't.
They can't. I mean, I'll just tell you, I haven't done 9 presidential campaigns. If we don't have those young voters who are supporting him, we will not basically win.
By the way, this is their medium. I mean, they're all over it tonight, and they love him, and they want to hear from him.
That's why they're dominating.
Will you admit that Ron Paul has a point, that maybe we should be concerned about nation building and military adventurism on one hand, as opposed to legitimate defense spending on the other, before we are forced to by the bankers and the people to whom we owe all this money?
Yeah, it's not only a point. I mean, it's true. If we spread ourselves too thin around the world, we're not going to be able to defend the homeland, particularly with the level of debt that we have right now. You know, our Joint Chiefs of Staff for our military has said our biggest national security problem is our debt. So it's foolish for us to think that we can have military bases all over the world, spend billions of dollars when we're going broke back home. It just isn't going to happen. So the best way to defend our country is to move towards a balanced budget, concentrate our defense capabilities back here at home, and make sure we can defend our interests around the world. But we're not in a position now to do what we've been doing over the last several decades.
Senator DeMint, always a pleasure. Thanks for joining us.
I'm just absolutely thrilled to be here today. Dr. Paul is somebody that I've watched for the past 26 years, and I've always admired the principled stands that he takes in Congress, often on the side of a 400-some-odd to 1 vote. Many times the other person on the side of the vote with it, Mark Sanford, casting the vote, trying to hold the line for liberty, hold the line on spending. So I got inducted into Dr. Paul very early.
Thank you, Tom. Appreciate that. I am Danny Burton. I represent Lawrence and Greenville counties in the state senate, and it's been a real privilege for 12 years to represent my constituency. And I try to be as sympathetic, empathetic, and in touch with my constituency as possible. In 14 months, I've had numerous constituents urging upon me the support, the endorsement of all of the candidates that are still in the field, or even some that have dropped out at this point. So for 14 months or more, I've been standing on the sidelines. But for more than 14 years, probably 28 to 30 years, I've been an observer of Dr. Ron Paul and his public career. I've never known a man in public service or in the public arena that has a message, that has had a message that resonated in my heart more than Dr. Ron Paul. I want to stand here before you and tell you that a lot of times in life, there's the smart thing to do and there's the right thing to do. When you're an elected official, getting involved in these primaries is dangerous politically. I have heard a lot of grief because I've got friends in every camp. But I've got to tell you that I cannot stand on the sideline when I know that there's one man that is going to stand and fight for the Constitution. A lot of these other folks are conservative in certain areas, but Dr. Ron Paul is conservative in all areas. He stands firm, and what he says he believes. He's not going to say, well, if I'm in Texas, I need to do one thing, but if I'm somewhere else, I need to do something entirely differently. He's going to stand with his core convictions every time, everywhere.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Kevin Bryant, and I represent the good people of Anderson County in the South Carolina Senate. Some will view some of these issues as extreme. Well, remember our hero Barry Goldwater said extremism in the defense of liberty is no vice. Let's talk about extremism. If you quote anything you hear this morning, I want you to print this one very important number. We talk about $17 trillion of debt, and that's huge. That's a number that I can't even fathom in my mind. Well, let's talk about the unfunded liabilities of our federal government. You know what that is? $117 trillion. $117 trillion. This is an extreme problem, and it's going to take extreme solutions to deal with a $117 trillion problem. For the sake of our children and grandchildren, please listen to the issues that Dr. Paul is talking about. We're going to have to do some extreme things to turn this ship around. Thank you for your attention, and I appreciate the coverage of our friends in the media. And at this time, I will turn it over to the man that I'm going to vote for Saturday, and that's Congressman Ron Paul.
As you know, your ex-wife gave an interview to ABC News and another interview at the Washington Post, and this story has now gone viral on the internet. In it, she says that you came to her in 1999, at a time when you were having an affair. She says you asked her, sir, to enter into an open marriage. Would you like to take some time to respond to that?
No, but I will.